Hear these words from the 13th chapter of the Gospel of John. Jesus and his disciples were sharing the evening meal. The devil had already provoked Judas, Simon Iscariot's son, to betray Jesus. Jesus knew the Father had given everything into his hands and that he had come from God and was returning to God. So he got up from the table and took off his robes. Picking up a linen towel, he tied it around his waist. Then he poured water into a wash basin and began to wash the disciples' feet, drying them with the towel that he was wearing. When Jesus came to Simon Peter, Peter said to him, "Lord, are you going to wash my feet?" And Jesus replied, "You don't understand what I'm doing now, but you will understand it later." "No," Peter said, "you're not going to wash my feet." And Jesus replied, "Unless I wash you, you won't have a place with me." And Simon Peter said, "Lord, not only my feet, but also my hands and my head." And Jesus responded, "Those who have bathed need only to have their feet washed because they are completely clean. You disciples are clean, but not every one of you." He knew who would betray him. That's why he said, "Not every one of you is clean." After Jesus washed the disciples' feet, he put on his robes and returned to his place at the table. And he said to them, "Do you know what I've done for you? You call me teacher and Lord, and you speak correctly because I am. If I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you too must wash each other's feet. I've given you an example. Just as I have done, you also must do. I assure you, servants aren't greater than their master, nor are those who are sent greater than the one who sent them. Since you know these things, you will be happy if you do them." What a moment. Jesus begins the last meal with his friends by kneeling down and washing their feet. Kneeling down and doing the work of a servant, the dirty business of foot washing. He washed the feet that had walked in the dirt and the dust all day long. And Peter says, wait, what are you doing? You don't be washing my feet. And Jesus says, the only way that you're mine is if you understand what I'm doing. And Peter still thinks it's about water and washing and bathing. And he said, well, then don't just wash my feet, wash me all over. Jesus said, look, I'm giving you an example. Just as I have done, you also must do. Later on in this same meal, Jesus says, I give you a new commandment, that you must love one another as I have loved you. And then he took a loaf, and then he took a cup, and he said, I'm all in for you. This body, this blood, this life of mine is for you. Do as I do, Jesus said. Give your whole self to others in love.